Princess Anne recently disclosed something that has completely astonished Prince William and King Charles. For my brother, though, he's been waiting for this and most likely spends more time contemplating it. What precisely did she expose and how would it influence the monarchy's future? We kind of knew what the rhythm of the year was, so things like that will change, and how we are part of the support for the monarchy may gently vary. Who knows? The response has rocked the whole basis of royal expectations. At last, Anne talks. It started with a message few would have ever considered sharing. Reading aloud a queen's message was our obligation. King George VI and Queen Elizabeth had stood in the same spot 75 years ago, dedicating the National War Memorial years later. Princess Anne stood up not only to pay tribute to past, but also to gently change it. Anne had not spoken for years. Still, something had evolved. Regarding her mother's decisions, she answered without thinking twice. Her mother had done absolutely the right thing, she remarked. No sane parent could have seen another way forward, in her opinion. Her voice was steady and uncompromising. That was the instant things changed. The king, who is the key to this, is the one found in the Constitution. Prince William trembled clearly. King Charles said nothing at all. Something far more than a declaration had been exchanged. Anne had carried for years not just a memory or a personal view, but also a legacy. That letter never meant to be seen by the public. Queen Elizabeth II herself had sent the letter, and what it said excluded Charles. William was not named in it. It centered on someone else totally. Someone virtually nobody would have guessed. Catherine, Princess of Wales, it called. That evening the palace felt different. Inside, Anne requested a private meeting. There were just 3 invites sent out. Charles, William, and her own self. Not one helper, not one title. Exactly them. Behind a door closing gently behind them. She didn't have to clarify very much. The moment spoke for itself. Once read, the contents of that letter would fundamentally alter the debate on the future of the monarchy permanently. The Queen spoke in unambiguous terms. She had not only considered Catherine as a faithful bride of the future king. Catherine had evolved in her view into the hub of something more, not via title or legacy, but rather by her elegant, consistent, and subdued strength. Charles acted right away. Mumbling to himself, he struggled to believe what he had just read. The way things were meant to go was not this. The weight of it appeared to age his face. William said nothing, on the other hand. His hands grasped the arm of his chair, then progressively relaxed. He stayed fixed on the letter. He once more went over it. Anne stayed still. She had not carried the letter to set off a fight or arouse strong feeling. Her contribution was straightforward. Deliver what their mother had trusted just her to communicate. And in her silence, she thought that was the correct course of action. The procedure had not selected Catherine. She was picked because she gave it meaning. William broke a protracted quiet at last. His voice was subdued and dubious. Why had their grandmother never told them? He asked. Anne stared back at him calmly. Perhaps, she replied, it was because she was waiting for the moment they would at last grasp. Not one person spoke after that. They were not obliged, of course. The room's air felt heavier. Before them the truth had been laid out. And now they owned it to carry. The woman they knew for years has lately evolved into something much more. Catherine was ignorant of what was happening. She had just finished getting the kids asleep in another section of the palace. She had never sought attention. She never attempted a forceful leadership style. She just showed up, cool-headed, dedicated, consistent. Queen Elizabeth had seen in her just that. She had picked her for this reason, not out of compliance, not from need, but she thought Catherine might lead the royal family into something fresh. The letter stayed between them in the chamber back off. It transcended mere paper and pen. It was a decision. Anne said the planet had evolved, and they might either be left behind or evolve with it. None answered, but somewhere something had started to change. Something profound and irreparable. The future did not present fanfare. It arrived with silence, and a choice done in the shadows. And the crown started to point in another direction exactly like that. Not with a celebration or announcements, but with just one quiet night. And a lady without knowing what was going to transpire. The evolving royal face. The kingdom had shown consistency for millennia, but that assurance had begun to evaporate with the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Charles now sat on the throne. Still, it did not feel the same. He had been waiting for decades. Still, the event lacked the warmth his mother had commanded. People held him in great reverence. But something was lacking. Still too present was his past. His correspondence with Camilla. His part in the divorce of his first marriage. These leftovers persisted. The crown stayed in place. The popular confidence had nevertheless declined. William likewise sensed it. On paper he represented the modern heir, a young man who is a father, consistent and likable. But he had come to represent pressure now. Every action he took was monitored, criticized, exercised. Once considered as a fairy tale, his marriage had become complex, given popular admiration of Catherine. Their love of her was beginning to eclipse his. Harry then came around. His words still hurt from across the seas. Every interview, every charge, resurrected past scars. William watched the monarchy's fractures deepening. The nation came together momentarily upon the Queen's passing, but it didn't hold. Public acceptance started to change, particularly among the younger group. Polls revealed mounting uncertainty. People started to wonder if the monarchy still fit their life. That mistrust was already sensed inside the castle. Moreover, the letter Anne had sent was not only the farewell to the Queen. It was a warning and a likely response. In countries like Australia and the Caribbean, the once silent concept of severing connections to the crown has become subject of public debate. Pressure was felt by the royal family. The link that had appeared to be indestructible was showing deterioration. They recognized that tradition would not be sufficient to forward them. Something had to adjust. Furthermore, not only on the surface, they wanted someone who might rebuild confidence in the values of the monarchy. A real person. Someone akin to Catherine. As it happened, Queen Elizabeth had seen it all before it started. She had taken a secret decision long before the cracks started to show others. She thought that people who really loved the monarchy would grasp her vision when the moment came. She had chosen based on what she thought the monarchy would need to endure, not on title or birth. The future, in her opinion, bore Catherine's name all over it. Once quite sure of his future, Prince William felt the ground change under him. Not another royal or foreign official had questioned his direction. Catherine was it. The woman he loved had evolved into the emblem of an other kind of future, one in which birthright was not everything. William battled what this implied for the throne, for their family, and for himself. His part became less obvious, and truth was starting to be difficult to overlook. Once set in its policies, the monarchy was at a tipping moment now. Catherine had produced more than just public affection. She had become trustworthy. She was constant rather than loud or pushy. She had not asked for authority. And perhaps that's precisely why she was experiencing this now. The rest of the royal family wasn't doing as well while Catherine managed the increasing attention with quiet strength. King Charles failed to fall asleep. Reading ancient texts night after night, he hoped to find out how kings before him had managed such upheaval. None of any literature, though, supplied the answers he needed. William, too, was carrying his uncertainties. Every time he looked at his children, he questioned whether he was getting them ready for a future perhaps never here. He aimed for them to lead meaningful and serviceful lives. But suppose the throne lost the prominence it previously enjoyed. In her cool head, Catherine grasped this ambiguity. She let it go without contest. She just kept acting according to what she knew important. Building relationships, keeping grounded, and providing someone the public could trust. She never pressed herself towards the middle. But she seemed increasingly like the one keeping everything together with every day that went by. The Queen's letter leaks secrets do not remain buried forever. Eventually, the Queen's last request crossed outside the boundaries of her palace. A few sharp-eyed employees had caught on and whispered facts started to surface. The public reacted in different ways. While William, the official heir, was still alive, some thought Catherine's assent was improper. Others claimed she lacked the political background expected of a person in authority. Still, many approved with the Queen's choice. They trusted her instincts, as she had always behaved in line with the best interests of the monarchy. This surge of curiosity resulted in closer examination of Catherine's background, and what people discovered defied expectations. January 9, 1982 saw Catherine Elizabeth Middleton born in Reading. Her family reared her under consistent direction and respected diligence. They were not regal. Living under basic values, they were content. The life of Catherine did not center palaces or regal ceremonies. Like many others, she grew up learning, maturing, and silently developing into someone with strong convictions and a cool head. She didn't have a title, but it was evident over time that she possessed something rarer: the people's trust. And at times the monarchy needed to adapt. That trust was more important than anything else. Two quite separate worlds shaped Catherine's background. Michael Middleton, her father, was a flight dispatcher. Her mother, Carol, had flight attendant experience. From her father's side, the family had old ties to British society and had even welcomed royals early in the 1900s. From her mother's side, her forebears worked coal mines. Catherine thus had a great combination of work ethic, modesty, and tradition. The family relocated to Amman, Jordan, where her father worked with British Airways 2 years ago. She was 2 years old. Early on in her education at an English-speaking nursery school, Catherine developed her ability to fit into several cultures. They returned to England in 1986, first settling in Berkshire. She was already shown symptoms of independence by the time she was 4 years old, and had begun classes at St. Andrews. Her upbringing carried on with part-time boarding school, which gave her freedom. Her mother launched Party Pieces, a mail-order firm selling party accessories, in 1987. A little concept turned into a profitable one that let the family afford decent education and chances. Growing up seeing her mother establish the business, Catherine learnt patience and the amount of work required to accomplish something significant. The Middletons relocated to Bucklebury, a peaceful community, in 1995. Catherine once more transferred schools and finally went to Marlborough College. She became captain of the ladies' hockey team there, and a monument to her tenacity and leadership, received the Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award. She had minor surgery to remove a bump from her head during this period, but it wasn't a major concern, and she discreetly went back to her everyday routine. 1 year of expansion and travel. Catherine had to decide whether to start college or take time off following graduation. She decided to travel the world over a gap year. She first looked at art in Florence. She then worked with Raleigh International in Chile, assisting with community projects and trekking over far-off areas. She also showed she was never scared to handle tough work by working temporarily as a deckhand at the busy Southampton port. She finally enrolled in the Scottish University of St. Andrews. She started with psychology, then quickly turned to art history. Joining the Lumsden Club, Catherine planned charitable activities for nearby towns. She worked part-time as a waitress to help with bills. Her university lifestyle was solid and sensible. She first came across Prince William here. Their common passion in art history brought them buddies. Their friendship developed into a partnership in 2002 following their shared house move with pals. Originally, they kept it secret, but in 2004 they were photographed vacationing together, and the world started to notice. Their relationship ran over numerous difficulties. Under media pressure, in 2007, they split momentarily. Although Catherine said that period was challenging, she also found it to be a means of strengthening her will. After a few months, the pair reunited, and this time their bond was much more strong. Catherine had to cope with continuous public attention. Given the length of their relationship before engagement, the tabloids even dubbed her Weighty Katie. She remained cool, nevertheless, not let the criticism define her. She gave her life and personal development top attention. November 2010 saw their stated involvement. Starting to use her full name once more, Catherine got ready for her new royal post. She formally became the Duchess of Cambridge on April 29, 2011, after marriage to Prince William in a ceremony seen by millions. Following marriage, Catherine entered public life. She carried on her royal responsibilities while volunteering for several charities. She maintained a grounded and reasonable attitude in front of the pressures. 2013 saw her conceive Prince George. Princess Charlotte was born 2 years later. In 2018, they welcomed Prince Louis. Though the royal family attracted more public interest, with every child, Catherine stayed calm and consistent. Her title never let her personality change. Rather, she used her position to promote family support, mental health, and early childhood development, among other issues. She didn't ask anyone for help for these projects, but her constant work and genuineness started to draw notice. She privately gave 7 inches of her hair to the Little Princess Trust in 2018 to create wigs for young cancer sufferers. She demonstrated once more that her compassion was never intended for headlines by acting without public disclosure. Those who had followed her path regarded it as a logical result. Others began to question how someone so frequently neglected had become essential in the kingdom. Her years of commitment, cool-headedness, and deliberate acts spoke for themselves, a change in the royal dynasty. While the younger royals captured popular attention, another person started to acquire quiet respect. Princess Anne. Her relentless effort and no-nonsense style won her great respect. Now, in a more prominent capacity, she was at last receiving the accolades she had labored for over years. Her ascent signaled a new sort of royal family leadership, based on simplicity, dedication, and duty over looks. Many considered Anne as a model of how the monarchy can proceed with integrity and initiative instead of ceremonial change. Her leadership demonstrated how being present, consistent, and true might have actual impact. Many people are asking what this implies for Queen Consort Camilla when Princess Anne takes on the queenly post. Her stay in the royal family has been a roller coaster. Camilla suffered years of public criticism, once attacked for her relationship with King Charles III, while he was still married to Princess Diana. Still, she started to progressively earn respect among the royal family. She gradually won over people who had earlier questioned her, with constant attention to her royal responsibilities and support of different causes. She started her duties with composure and care. After wed Charles in 2005. She started to show up regularly at royal events, standing next to the monarch, representing the crown, and leveraging her position to advocate causes close to her over time. Though it wasn't simple, her journey from outsider to queen consort was consistent and focused. Everything seems unknown right now. The primary change is introduced by Princess Anne's royal appointment. The royal family is obviously veering in another path. Anne has always approached her obligations in a quieter, more focused manner than Camilla has. She never sought compliments or recognition. Rather, she put out endless effort, year after year, supporting significant organizations and attending events. Her lifetime of reputation for diligence has followed her. King Charles apparently has been considering who should head the monarchy going forward, more inside the palace. Those close to the family say Anne is more grounded, more serious, more suitable for the throne, and maybe more in touch with what people expect from the contemporary royal family. Often considered as someone who balanced the monarchy with grace and charm, Camilla brought warmth and custom to her position. Anne, on the other hand, exudes a more robust presence, grounded on quiet firmness and dependability. Camilla stands for grace and consistent support. Anne stands for diligence and a no-nonsense approach. This variances in style could be just what inspired the choice. Charles may find in Anne the kind of leadership that fits the modern society. People now search for sincerity and dedication over appearances and titles as public expectations have shifted. Anne is quite suited for the picture. Anne's new role, that of Princess Anne, Queen, marks more than just a title change. It captures a more fundamental change in public perspective of the monarchy. The royal family was considered for years as symbolic, refined, conventional, and very remote. Now though, with Anne occupying this role, the emphasis seems to be shifting towards one that favors work over image. Her reputation has always come from discipline. Others grabbed headlines for speeches or clothes. Anne stayed constant. She labored silently and without drama. Such style of leadership seems increasingly important these days. People search for strength and sincerity. Anne brings both silently, without drawing attention. King Charles' choice to back Anne as queen reveals a change in the royal principles. It implies that nowadays, responsibility and dedication have greater weight than popularity or custom. Historically, the heir most loved by the people usually took front stage in leadership. Anne's journey shows that action, not applause, can lead to appreciation. Princess Anne has always thought that more important than words is someone's actions. This perspective has helped to define her life. She has participated in public events, charitable activities, even competitive horse riding over decades, but she has never once asked for more attention. She regularly makes the most public appearances of all the royals every year, quietly surpassing her family's more well-known members. She doesn't give public praise or image any thought. Anne keeps visiting colleges, hospitals, and organizations like Save the Children, while others might show up on magazine covers or become hot subjects of discussion. She has made herself valuable behind the scenes by placing responsibility above popularity. Her humility and dedication distinguishes her in a household where sometimes glitz takes the stage over service. While many were lured to Prince Charles' appeal or Princess Diana's elegance, Anne followed another road. She never followed celebrities or news. Her objectives have always been abundantly evident: to put in great effort maintaining the responsibilities of the crown without anticipating anything in return. She keeps working, constant and targeted, even when cameras are not present. She's 73 years old and still active. Not just royal, but also Olympian, having ridden equestrian sports during the 1976 Olympics. Her passion of diligence and consistency is still unaltered. Those who value honesty and diligence usually consider Anne to be the most beautiful princess. Though she might not draw media attention like her cousins, she is among the most revered in royal circles. She is someone the family always knows they could rely on. Her reputation is not founded in her appearance or charisma. It rests on her will, her commitment, and her avoidance of complaining. Her position inside the monarchy feels like her years of regular service have been leading to this point. Anne fits perfectly in a society when many people want their leaders to be relevant and trustworthy. Though she lacks the grace or public friendliness of other royals, she has shown that dependability and dedication count more. She works daily, not through great speeches. Anne's example of consistent, modest service will probably help the monarchy to build its future. If it is to continue, Princess Anne is demonstrating as she takes front stage that quiet, consistent, firmly anchored in purpose leadership can be. Her method differs from what many would have you pay attention to, but perhaps that is exactly what makes it valuable. Based on what you know, could the royal family need Princess Anne's understated approach just now? Alternatively, do you think that tradition and glitz still have more influence? Tell us in the comments your impressions.